Hi, I'm J9 from GeekMyGames, and I'm going to show you how I like to geek out my games. Today I'm going to be talking about Hearst art molds and how I use them to create really neat dungeon tiles. Now I'm not going to be going over step by step on how to create these dungeon tiles because number one, that would be a really long video, and number two, Hearst Art Molds does a wonderful job on their site of showing you step by step how to go through this process all the way down to how to paint them. Instead, today I'm going to be showing you some pictures of some of the molds that I created. Now, you don't have to use the exact molds that I did for any particular game. They have a whole bunch of different types of molds on Hearst Art Molds that are wonderful and easy to use that would add great dungeons to any game. So, without further ado, here we go. So first I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of how I started to create the molds. I followed the directions on the website and I used the molds and they pop out real easy. Then I started to do some of the accessories that came with the dungeons, such as the doors and the stones that go outside the doors. There's some really nice accessories that go along with these molds, especially the ones that I chose, like my little gold piles and the treasure chests that I did in some different colors, as you can see. They also have these little skulls that I really like, and they're very small, as you can see next to this Coke cap right here. And I dipped them in white paint, or in black paint, and then dry brushed them with white. I was able to use them later for bone piles and just to accessorize some of the extra things and boards that I had created. Here's a bridge. And then we're going to see some doorways that I covered with some broken up, like costume type jewelry. That's my first attempt at some mud and water and the fountain accessory. So the game that I use this for is Descent: Journeys into the Dark by Fantasy Flight Games, creator Kevin Wilson. But like I've said before, you can use this for so many different games, but these games were specifically pieces that I created to replace the 2D boards that were in the game, and they worked really well. As you can see, some of the monsters are pretty big within the set, but they still fit the spaces perfectly, and it was so much easier to see line of sight within the game. I was tickled pink actually at one point because I had uploaded some of these pictures to the boardgamegeek.com and I received some comments on the pictures and even an email from Kevin Wilson, the creator, and that just made me so happy. Felt like I really did a good job on these. Painting your miniatures really adds to the look and feel of your gameplay and just makes the dungeons look so much nicer. Here's a sorcerer's table I created with the little skulls for the stand. And you can see some of my other accessories from the molds that I used within the games, like the treasure chests and such. Here's some of the bone tiles that I made. And the potion bottles that I created will be in another video on how to create those. That's been asked a lot of me as well. Here are the above ground terrain tiles for the encounters, but again, this can be used for anything, and I just used foam with some hobby store supplies, which I'll talk about at the end of the video and how to get those. So, as you can see, Hearst Arts Molds makes some beautiful terrain tiles. Now, all the ones that I've used, I will put in the description down below so you can see exactly what it was that I used from Hearst Art Molds and for everything else. In the slideshow that I did, you probably saw some above ground terrain tiles as well. And I also used the Hearst art molds for those. I just made them very plain, and I added some grass using Woodland Scenics Blended Turf Green Blend, which I'll also put in the link below, and some polyfiber green for the shrubs and the trees, and some other bits and pieces. Now this stuff I didn't get from Hearst art molds. This stuff was just from a general hobby store, but I'll put links to that down below so you can see exactly what I used there as well. I highly recommend Hearst art molds, obviously, and I am not being compensated for them in any way. I just really love this product and wanted to share how I created my tiles with everybody else. So until next time, don't just love your games, geek your games.